I'm going to try to call them as I see them. As president of the AFL-CIO, I want to be listening carefully to your voices and to the voices of young people who don't understand what unions offer them. You see, much of the disconnect may be due to the changing nature of work and work settings. Under my watch, we're going to strive to change our method of doing business and collective bargaining to meet the needs of temporary workers and freelancers and other young workers, rather than expecting them to change the way that they make a living to fit our old model. You see, surveys tell us that some young people have written off unions as irrelevant to their generation and to their jobs. We don't accept that, and we intend to change that attitude, because we know that today's generation of young workers is doing worse than the generation of a decade ago. Now, many of you met Liz Schuler on Thursday. She's running with me as Secretary-Treasurer candidate. She's a young, dynamic woman who's going to be terrific. And one of our goals, and Liz will be a big part of this effort, is for the AFL-CIO to open up dialogues with young people about unions and the evolution of work. And this forum is a beginning and a part of that process. You see, we believe it's important to the future and the well-being of working America, and that we connect the labor movement to the broader progressive movement. So we came this week to listen, as well as to advocate our own ideas and our own organization. We're learning from your language as well as your tools in thinking how we better connect with young people. But we have an important message as well. And our message is that unions are more critical today than ever in our history. You see, in this uncertain economy, after years of stagnant real earnings, unions are the best hope for the younger generation to gain the standard of living that their parents and their grandparents have. Union workers earn 30% more than their non-union counterparts. You see, for 200 years, unions have served to counterbalance wealth and privilege in this country, and to help raise standards for workers to improve their jobs. And yes, we're the people who brought you the weekend, as the bumper sticker says, and we did much more. We brought you the 8-hour day and the 5-day week and Family and Medical Leave Act and a lot of other things. In short, it was the labor movement that built the middle class in this country. And now we're seeing that middle class under absolute assault. It's disintegrating. And it's no coincidence that people are losing their economic footing at the same time that unions are under siege. We have labor laws in this country that are so tilted so far towards employers that unions have stopped using the process. Many unions are going around the National Labor Relations Board and using majority sign-up. But quite frankly, we've been outmaneuvered thus far, or mostly outspent in the campaign for the Employee Free Choice Act. See, we've let the opposition define the legislation as an infringement on a democratic process, the secret ballot. And that's bull. And we all know it's bull. But the process that's been in place is anything but fair right now. See, the petition system, collecting signatures from a majority of workers, is just as important today for Western democracies as it's ever been. But that's not the point. The point is that, and this is a case we've not made well enough, the Employee Free Choice Act is a quintessential economic stimulus program. You see, making it easier for people to increase their bargaining power, by doing that, we also help them increase their buying power. And in an economy driven by consumer spending, you can't grow unless consumers have the wherewithal to spend and grow the economy. And that is an effect that does trickle down to non-union workers as well. A trickle-down economic measure that actually works. One that actually does lift all boats. So if you want to grow the economy, you have to put enough people to work in jobs that pay enough to allow them to pump money back into the economy. You can't borrow your way into the middle class. You have to bargain your way into the middle class, and that's what the Employee Free Choice Act will do. So people are beaten down. Look at this economy. There are stories out there, and you're telling them. Everything from people committing suicide after they lost their jobs to families disintegrating. But have you heard about the 50,000 employees at Delta Airlines that may soon have representation? Now, this is the largest organizing drive in the private sector that we've seen in a long, long time. That's more than 20,000 flight attendants and nearly 30,000 ground personnel who would be represented by the Association of Flight Attendants, CWA, and the International Association of Machinists. Now, Delta has a long anti-union history, using its southern exposure to foil their employees' desire to form unions. But this time, the employees have a real shot. They have a real shot thanks to the determination of the Northwestern Airlines flight attendants and the ground personnel to never leave home without a legally binding contract. Now, that's going to be a great story, and I hope it gets told. Let me tell you that while our intention is not to pick fights with employers, we won't run from those that abuse workers either. I promise you that. You may have seen that the Chamber of Commerce is upset, saying that they're afraid that under my watch we might start demonizing them. I told them that we would stop demonizing them just exactly as soon as they stopped acting like demons.